Greetings and welcome. This is Rajiv Makhni on the Cell Guru Show. You're seeing I'm very excited right now. Well, one, because I'm doing it here in this studio environment. Second, look at the kind of stuff I have for you. This is amazing. I have the big red box, which means the OnePlus 10 Pro 5G is finally here in India. So, did get its launch in China a while back. It's here in India. It's really built up a lot of expectations from people. This is going to be an incredible flagship phone. We'll go through it all, but we'll do a lot more. We'll also compare it to the Samsung S22 Plus because almost similar price points. So which one is actually better? Then we'll speak to Navneet Nakra, the CEO for the India area for OnePlus. So exciting stuff. We'll get some insights from him as to what's happening with the brand. And then we've got the Samsung Galaxy A53 5G. 35,000 rupee phone, has pretty good specs. Samsung really seems to be kind of getting all the right numbers, including sales. Will this be another big one for them? We'll find out on the show. Let's get started with today's show. So let's get started with the OnePlus 10 Pro 5G. The phone is in my hand. So in the unboxing, basically big box, has a lot of things within. It's got a nice case inside, a nice good quality case, the 80-watt SuperVOOC charger, some documentation and everything else that is obviously expected inside. But it's the phone that is, I think, a real standout. First of all, I'm going to start off with what I really liked. This is a different design philosophy for OnePlus. It will not give you the same feeling as the OnePlus 9 series with the RT or the 9 series otherwise. This is different, mainly because of the camera array. Of course, it's still got those cascading sides to it. The back is very nice. It's glass but textured, so there's no chance of any fingerprint. In fact, I'm sure I could even put my hand into a greasy bowl of some nachos or something and still put it. There'll be no fingerprints on it because it's very nicely textured. Lots of colors that have come out. Now, you see the camera array, very interesting. It's done very, very professionally. Looks like it has 4 cameras on it, but it's actually 3. The fourth one is actually the flash. The good part is that you see it doesn't bulge out as much as all typical premium flagship phones, right? I mean, you put this onto a table, it won't rock like a boat that is out in a storm or something like that. I mean, it's almost flat. I like that part. Great screen, good performance from inside. But you know what is the real standout part? Is this collaboration with Hasselblad, I think finally is totally paying off for them. We're very impressed with the camera. Here then is our review.
It's been a long wait for the latest from the house of OnePlus to make its global debut. But the OnePlus 10 Pro is finally here. It's got top-of-the-line specs, familiar yet fresh looks, and even an interesting twist in the camera department. OnePlus is clearly gunning for a broader share of the smartphone market. But the closer-than-ever relationship with Oppo, the evolving software, and our unsatisfying journey with the predecessor's camera risk putting a stop to the company's goals. Does the OnePlus 10 Pro live up to our expectations, and is there more to the numbers than just numbers on a spec sheet? We find out in the Cell Guru review of the OnePlus 10 Pro. We'll be honest here, we like how the OnePlus 10 Pro looks. It evokes the same feeling of the original sandstone finished OnePlus, but tosses it straight into the future with a modern yet classy design. The matte finish is sufficiently grippy and it keeps fingerprints at bay too. Definite win there. Moreover, there's no way you can miss the most distinct part of the phone, the camera. The ceramic construction exudes luxury and looks like nothing else on the market other than a slight hint of inspiration from the S21 Ultra. Inside the larger-than-life module, you'll find what looks like 4 lenses. But wait, there's only 3 here. OnePlus has decided to give the macro lens a miss. Instead, you will observe an LED flash that sits in a ring light-like formation. OnePlus has continued its partnership with Hasselblad on the OnePlus 10 Pro. Now in its second generation, it brings more balanced color science and a lot of filters designed to appease Instagram addicts. Overall, the design is very good, but that fit and finish falls just short of excellence. You can notice the seam between the mid-frame and the glass panel. Similarly, the buttons cut just a bit too sharply. Moving to the front, the 6.7-inch AMOLED panel is gorgeous to look at. It's got all the bells and whistles like a 120Hz refresh rate, 13Hz nits of peak brightness. Now this year, OnePlus has calibrated the screen at 2 brightness levels, 100 and 500 nits, to ensure that you get a color accurate experience no matter the brightness setting. Performance-wise, the OnePlus 10 Pro is a flagship through and through. It's got a Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 processor and 8GB of RAM. The phone ships with the performance cap to balance battery life, but a quick toggle will have you unleashing the beast. Overall performance is top-notch, though you might want to hit that toggle switch for heavier titles like Genshin Impact. The OnePlus 10 Pro runs Oxygen OS 12.1 based on Color OS. Now, as such, you'll spot a lot of uniformity between the two platforms, and apps like Camera have been lifted straight from Oppo's phone. Thankfully, there is next to no bloatware here. To ensure all-day longevity, OnePlus has bumped up the battery life to 5000 mAh. This helps counter the increased battery consumption of the 8 Gen 1 chipset, and the phone comfortably delivers 7 hours of screen on time. Charging speeds have also gone up to 80 watt. You can expect to charge your phone in about 35 minutes. There's also wireless charging support at up to 50 watt. Let's talk cameras. There's 3 here, and no, you're not mistaken. OnePlus has removed the macro camera altogether. Not just that, this time around the ultra-wide sensor doesn't have autofocus, so you can't use it for macros either. What you do get instead is a much wider 150-degree frame of view, which could come in handy for creative shots. Photos from the primary camera are very well balanced with good dynamic range, control over tone, and white balance. Low light too isn't bad at all, and the OnePlus manages to keep noise levels in check. The ultra-wide camera unfortunately suffers from significant distortion around the edges, and there is a lot of lost details. Coming to the telephoto sensor, the 8-megapixel camera is getting long in the tooth, and you won't be getting very good shots in anything less than perfect light. The level of detail too is far from great. The 32-megapixel selfie camera, however, is a nice upgrade, and it takes well-detailed shots with ample details as well as excellent bokeh separation in portrait mode. Overall, the OnePlus 10 Pro is a step in the right direction. The phone is a bit bare bones in its feature set, but the lower price point compared to the Samsung Galaxy S22 Plus works in its favor. However, the lack of finesse might make it a hard sell against the iPhone 13 that can be found in the same ballpark figure. A good attempt from OnePlus, but not the all-out winner we expected.
I promised you Navneet will join us on the show. Thank you so much for joining us. We've just finished our review of the OnePlus. I'm very, very excited because, we expected this, that the OnePlus 10 Pro will be dramatically different. This seems to be OnePlus kind of getting all their cylinders, firing them all together, leaving no weaknesses, and then coming up with some exceptional features also. Tell us what you feel are the best of OnePlus 10 Pro. There's so much to talk about.
Rajiv, first and foremost, pleasure being on the show again. A warm hello to you and the entire community which is watching us. You're absolutely right. We've got 10 Pro firing on all cylinders. I think if we were to pick up a few things, I would like to step back and first talk about why we started OnePlus and making phones in 2013, so that we could have the best technology in our hands for ourselves. And the OnePlus 10 Pro today brings exactly that. It has a second generation Hasselblad camera. It has a 150-degree field of view, which is very exciting. It has something that we call the OnePlus billion color mechanics and scheme. It has something which we call the new Hyper Boost gaming module. So under the hood, it has everything that you aspire for and more. And today, a user which gets the OnePlus 10 Pro is going to feel excited about the top class features coming to her or him at a special, I would say, format which she has never seen before.
Tell me, if you were to be put into a spot to say top 2-3 things about the phone that you think are the strongest, that really make this phone stand out.
Absolutely. So Rajiv, I'm going to take the liberty of naming my top 4, not top 2 or 3.
All right.
First and foremost, the OnePlus 10 Pro is going to house the Oxygen OS 12.1, which is on Android 12. And as you're aware, the Oxygen OS has always promised a burdenless experience to our community.
Right.
Number 2, we house the latest Snapdragon 8 Mobile One, I think with the Snapdragon 7th generation AI program and platform, which will make outstanding calibration, whether it's on photography, whether it's on gaming. Number 3, the camera module itself. Then on the camera module, very excited to share that it's a 3 rear camera module, 48 megapixel Sony IMAX 789, an 8 megapixel telephoto and a 150-degree ultra-wide and a 32 megapixel selfie camera. Today, any user which is using the OnePlus 10 Pro will find the best of camera features coming onto her. Last but not the least, very proud to share that the charging and the battery technology has been taken to the next level. We now have a 5000 mAh2 and one of the largest battery sizes in a flagship phone. And we come out and we are launching the 80-watt Super VOOC charging, which gets you a day's power in about 15 to 17 minutes and a full day 0 to 100 charge in about 32 minutes.
I've seen a lot of maturity come OnePlus. Normally what would happen is, just to tick mark the numbers, you'd have 4 lenses at the back, right? You've gone with 3, all 3 that actually matter, all 3 that users will actually use. You haven't put in something like a depth sensor or a macro, something which is completely useless for most people. This maturity, this fact that you are confident that say that 3, all 3 good, and they work. And the fact that the camera actually is good. Is this the new OnePlus where the camera becomes a very central part of the experience?
A lot of times we've heard saying that how can we push the boundaries of camera technology better? So some of the things that we are very proud of is the biggest thing that we're proud of is our association with the legendary camera maker Hasselblad. I think a company which has been doing this for over 75, 80 years, we have learned and co-partnered on a 3-year journey with them, which brings natural color, I would say, calibration to our technology. We are testing with them on new standards for camera photography, new standards for color on mobile phone, and very happy to share with you on behalf of the OnePlus and the Hasselblad team that the 2nd generation Hasselblad camera comes to the 10 Pro. Now, what does it bring for us? One, it brings all sorts of great things that Hasselblad masters and ambassadors have created, including 3 new
3 of these, yeah, very interesting
color
ones.
masters.
I love the wildlife one.
You love the wildlife one.
I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah. So the Serenity, the Radiant, the Wildlife, these are amazing, I would say, color calibrations which have come in. You spoke about the fisheye. With a 150-degree field of view, you're almost 4 times better than a 120-degree field of view.
I want to end by asking you, lots of excitement around everything you're doing. What is further that we can expect in excitement? I mean, what's the strategy forward? Can we expect another big thing coming in from OnePlus?
First and foremost, I think, Rajiv, we are truly thrilled to be in India serving such a large community. Our values of never settle is something that was true when we started the company and now. But the power of bringing the best technology in the hands of consumers in India holds good. Every time we do discussions internally, we are on the mission to bring the best technology first in India for our community in India. So as 2022 progresses, I'm very confident to share with you that we'll have a bunch of exciting launches outside the 10 Pro as well, which will bring fantastic price points. One of the most affordable 5G smartphones at a price point that India has never seen before.
Okay.
We'll see some interesting connected devices which are for your personal, I would say, personal wear and personal consumption. Interesting, when we launched the 10 Pro, we also launched and introduced the OnePlus Bullets Wireless Z series, the new one out here, which is far more attractive than the predecessors. So you would see us segueing into interesting price points, into interesting products, and serving our community like never before.
All right, time now to do a very interesting comparison. Phones almost around the same price point that have a lot of a halo effect around them. Samsung S22 Plus and the iPhone 13. So I told you, big names out there. Let's do a quick comparison. I mean, this is not a very out and out, in-depth comparison of trying every feature. More like a spec comparison for you to kind of make up your mind, which is the way you should be kind of swinging.
The OG value flagship is back in an all-new avatar. Now in its 9th generation, the OnePlus 10 Pro represents a culmination of everything that OnePlus has been working on for the last decade. You'll find a bold new design, a refreshed focus on imaging and performance that screams flagship. But the company's upward trajectory means that it now faces stiff competition from the likes of Samsung and even Apple. Can the OnePlus 10 Pro hope to compete against the Samsung Galaxy S22 Plus and iPhone 13? Let's find out. The OnePlus 10 Pro has taken clear inspiration from last year's Galaxy S21 Ultra for its use of a camera band design that stretches over the glass back panel. Meanwhile, the Galaxy S22 Plus uses a very similar design but drops the camera-shaped LED flash for a smaller, more discreet profile. Both phones are premium in their outlook, but the S22 Plus edges forward with tighter tolerance levels. Meanwhile, Apple's mid-tier iPhone looks the part, but the quality of materials isn't quite on par with the alternatives. Score for Samsung. Performance-wise, all three phones are packing the heat. Both the OnePlus 10 Pro and the Samsung Galaxy S22 Plus are running on Qualcomm's Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 platform with 8GB or 128GB of RAM to boot. However, the iPhone 13's A15 Bionic chipset runs circles around them both, and if gaming is a priority, that's the one to go for. Win for the iPhone 13. Imaging too is a key decision maker when it comes to value flagships. Both the OnePlus 10 Pro and Samsung Galaxy S22 Plus ship with 3 sensors: a primary sensor, ultra-wide and telephoto. OnePlus has opted for an extra-wide 150-degree frame of view this year, but that means the loss of autofocus capabilities and not so bright sensor. Meanwhile, Samsung's excellent optimization shines through with consistent colors across the lenses, incredible dynamic range and a robust feature set. The iPhone 13 might lack a telephoto sensor, but it makes up for it with the best-in-class video recording capabilities as well as primary camera that is consistently good shot after shot. It's a tie for the Samsung Galaxy S22 Plus and the iPhone 13. Value. Look, if you're in the market for a value flagship, pricing is a big consideration. And that's where the OnePlus 10 Pro has the alternatives beat. Starting at the price of $66,999 for the base variant, the OnePlus 10 Pro significantly undercuts Samsung and Apple. For performance seekers on a budget, this is the one to go for. So there you go, 3 amazing options at 3 price points. The OnePlus 10 Pro proves that it is once again the king of value, but if an overall package is what you want, you might want to consider the Samsung Galaxy S22 Plus instead.
On the Cell Guru Show, we're going to take a quick break right now. When we come back, lots more happening. Up next is another big review. This is this Galaxy A53 5G by Samsung. The phone is in my hand. I have a nice bluish one again. I would again give Samsung a lot of tick marks for its design, the way it's been done. Very nice design, the camera array. This is a good thing where the camera array now is kind of starting to flow and merge into the rest of the phone. This entire standout, make it look like something very ugly and big and bulging, that is more or less going out, and I think this is a good design philosophy. So phone looks nice, screen is fantastic, 6.5-inch screen, FHD+, 120 Hz refresh rate, so it is a good quality, it is a Samsung screen. Exynos processor, so for some people that may not be the best choice, but I think for a phone at this price point, it does very, very well. So it's around 35,000 rupees. How is the phone? What really stands out in it? Here's our Cell Guru review.
The Samsung A series represents a landmark moment in the Korean company's recent lineup. By effortlessly bringing a premium design and select features from the flagship lineup to a price point that is easily within reach, Samsung has finally effectively bridged the gap between the value and flagships. The Samsung A53 5G is the latest that brings significant improvements to the internals, backed by an incredible 4-year update guarantee that is up there with the best. So, is the Samsung A53 truly the value flagship of our dreams, or is there something amiss? Let's find out in the Cell Guru review. Why change something when it's broken? That's the theme with the design of the A53. The polycarbonate design is the same as last year's model for the most part. There is copious use of plastics, but the quality of materials is good and the phone feels premium in the range of pastel shades. The matte finish polycarbonate back panel gently lifts into a camera module that sits right at the tip of your finger for a comfortable grip. You will get essential features like an IP67 rating as well as stereo speakers that sound loud and punchy. Unfortunately, there is no headphone jack. The 6.5-inch Super AMOLED display is gorgeous to look at and sports Gorilla Glass 5 for protection. With up to 800 nits of brightness, the phone remains perfectly viewable outdoors. Meanwhile, the 120Hz refresh rate makes it great for playing games and adding some fluidity to the interface. Finally, talking about the in-display fingerprint reader, While we find it to be adequately responsive, the location was just a bit too low to reach out comfortably. Samsung is employing an Exynos 1280 chipset here to keep things running smoothly. On paper, the performance is plenty good, but we noticed a few instances where the software had lags and jitters. Samsung could do well by optimizing One UI a bit more for the hardware. On that note, Samsung is claiming 4 years of OS updates for the A53, ensuring a long lifespan. The phone handles gaming well, and most top-end titles like Call of Duty could be cranked to high without any struggles. The 5000 mAh battery too is plenty good on paper. In real-world use, you will easily get a full day out of the phone. Frugal users might even be able to push a day and a half. Charging, however, is slow, clocking in at 25 watt. The Samsung A53 takes an hour and a half for a complete top-up.
25 watts is an equally good number to have. We have 5000 mAh. That really help consumer to stay for a 2 days long battery. Also, it has been coupled with the 5 nanometer processor, which really boosts up your energy. So it's the right balance of every aspect to deliver the best consumer experience.
But what about imaging, you ask? The Samsung A53 comes equipped with a 64 megapixel primary camera sensor that is paired with a 12 megapixel ultra-wide camera as well as 5 megapixel macro and depth sensors. No telephoto shooter here. Samsung has done an exemplary job with the primary camera. The main sensor shoots photos that are rich in details and display excellent dynamic range. Highlights are kept in control even under direct sunlight, and colors look vibrant. In low light conditions, the phone does a decent job at managing long exposures combined with the night mode algorithms for results that are brightly lit and low on noise. Portrait mode detection is also very good with excellent edge detection. Similarly, the ultra-wide camera does a good job, but a higher megapixel count would have helped. The 5 megapixel macro camera can be a bit hard to use when trying to focus, but the end results are plenty good. There is a photo remaster tool that enhances your photos with one touch. Samsung has also brought a range of Snapchat filters to add some fun to the pictures. Finally, the 32 megapixel selfie camera balances skin tones and details quite well. The phone includes a software bokeh mode that struggles a bit with errant hair. The Samsung Galaxy A53 5G is priced starting 34,499 rupees, which makes it a fairly premium device as far as mid-rangers go. Additionally, the phone doesn't deliver best-in-class performance either. However, that's only a part of the equation. The A53 stands out for being a complete, well-rounded package. From the design to the display and the cameras, there's a lot to like here. Couple that with 4 years of updates and you've got the makings of a winner.
That then was the Sale Guru Show for this week. Lots of crazy good stuff coming up. Next week, do join me on the show.